What's up, everybody? We are back again. Your next anime podcast, talking about Gleipnir. Once again, my name is Eric, and I've got Chris and Mike with me. How's it going, guys?
Going good. Survived the
It's going.
holidays. Can't
Yeah.
ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, if you're watching this right now, we're recording this on January the 2nd, so Christmas and New Year's just passed. Pretty tight. We actually finished watching this series a while ago, but we didn't get together to record this episode, so we had to rewatch some of them. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm ready to talk about it. Last we left off in episode 8. Today we're going to be talking about episodes 9 through 13. We're going to talk about the whole rest of the season. I'm really stoked. It gets pretty intense. I can honestly say that throughout this whole process, I didn't know where this show was going. So episode 8, we left off, they had just joined up with that group, right? The group of, what are they called? Gatherer?
They call themselves gatherers. They don't even have an official name for their group.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I mean, that's the first thing I would have come up with. I would have been like, oh, we got to come up
we
with
gotta
a
come
name.
up with a name.
There hasn't been a single episode where we haven't let them get away with that, so I definitely agree on them for that.
But yeah, Elena and Shuichi, which, just to recap, Gleipnir is an anime about like these high school kids that find these coins that when you return them to this alien, he gives you special powers. Our main character, Shuichi, has the ability to turn into like this mascot character, but he doesn't really know why. He doesn't have any memory of finding those coins or requesting this, power or ability. And we're finding out through the show that there's a lot of holes in his memory, actually. And then Elena, who doesn't have any powers, but her sister does. She's trying to find out what happened to her sister, why
No,
her sister...
Elena's the one with the power.
Elena's the one with the powers. Claire is the one who doesn't have the powers.
Claire Redfield.
Elena is her sister, who killed her parents, and Claire's trying to figure out why. And she can actually get inside of Shuichi in his little mascot suit and control him. And when she's in the suit, he has like super strength and abilities and stuff. So they are trying to track down the coins. They met up with a bunch of other people who have powers that are called the gatherers. Everybody who has powers looking for these coins are called gatherers. And they team up to try to find these coins, right? And we talked about some of the people in this group. Homegirl, who was like way too intimate for like no reason.
Yeah.
But has the ability to like put a leash on people, and if they try to betray her or anybody in her friend group, they die. We've got Telescope Man, who's like a total peeping Tom.
Yeah.
He can record people too. He's just like a camcorder.
We've got the big Sasquatch looking dude who can like control plants and stuff, which is tight.
That's pretty cool.
That's my boy.
Pretty cool
That's
skill.
We've got Dog Girl, who, as far as we know, her power is just like she's got dog ears and can talk to animals. And she wears a motorcycle helmet because
she's edgy.
She's the most interesting character.
What's his name? Who fights? I don't know what his name is, but
are you talking about homeboy Yota, the one with the fist? Yes, okay.
Tattoos.
Oh yeah,
he's got the tattoos.
They manifest as tattoos.
He's like, I hospitalized somebody, before I had powers. I can only imagine what'll happen now that I have these powers.
I'm loving that that's the prerequisite for like every strong person in this anime. Like they beat up somebody, so they're like,
they were already strong.
They're already knocking teeth, so it only shows.
And that's the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole group, I think.
Well, actually, you forgot about
and then the
invisible
girl.
The gas station clerk.
Of course, we forgot about her.
I always forget about her, and then she like pops up randomly. She's like, "Hey, you all right?" She's like,
"Got that."
So they team up, right? And then so episode 9, state claims. Let's see. They're exploring the forest, so they team up to try to get all these coins. They decide it's better if they get the coins than somebody bad, right? So they're trying to keep the coins away from bad people, is what they say. They're going into the forest. They come across like some staked claims, right? Some signs saying like, this is our territory, keep off. And they're like, well, we don't want no trouble, so we're going to go around. And then that's when they walk into a trap.
Yep, shouldn't have gone around.
A pretty good trap.
Should have fucked up. Just gone straight through.
Claire's cunningness, it's almost scary how much she thinks like a bad guy to discover like, oh, you know what? It's a little too convenient that we're here. Why isn't this claimed?
And she's clocking everybody too. Every time somebody in the group does something weird or like funny, it always like cuts to her and she's like, and you can see her like making a mental note, like she doesn't trust anybody in this group, regardless of what she may say or do or whatever. She's really just looking out for her and Shuichi. She's the one that figures it out that it was a trap. Because she's like, it doesn't make sense that this would be unclaimed territory when this is like a perfect place to look for coins because it's by the riverbed and it's like out in the open. So
I think that's when it clicked, when she was like, and it's out in the open, and she's like, wait a second, that means we're out in the open.
That means we're out in the open.
And immediately they look up and it's like there's a whole group of people just watching them.
And how are you gonna have a telescope for a head but not catch that? Like, how are you not looking up?
Right.
Useless.
The telescope, homie, because they were like, we're going to rely on you to like cover us, like make sure everything's clear. And he's like, all right, I got it. And then Shuichi's like, and like, I can sniff for trails too if there's anything like maybe you don't see. And dude's like, okay, asshole.
Yeah.
I said I got it.
Yeah, I said I got it. And then he didn't have it. He scoped and he's like, yeah, everything should be clear. And then Shuichi's like sniffing around. And then that's when Claire's like, I'm pretty sure we're being watched. And they all look up and, yep, they were being watched. Telescope guy didn't have it.
We gotta be honest though. Homeboy hasn't been the same ever since Chihiro climbed in Shuichi. Like, ever since then, it was on sight. He just looked out the fist. He can't throw the hands. But if he could, I know Shuichi will get beat up.
Yeah, I know. Dude had an unspoken claim on Chihiro.
They didn't even talk to her about it.
Not mad with what happened to him. So they get ambushed.
It happened.
I mean, if I was them, like their group is not very smart as a group. Like they're not using their powers very wisely. Like, you said the one girl can communicate with animals. Why isn't she getting them to search for their coins? Why isn't she getting them to scout for them? Like,
that would
I feel like it's totally pull like a Snow White and like talk
like
to
a My Hero Academia, like go get them coins, birds.
Jesus, what? And then what is the other guy? Issa, the giant beast guy who can grow stuff. Like, bro,
dude,
there are so many different abilities. Like,
he grew a whole forest.
That's what I'm saying.
He grew a watermelon.
I know the last episode I joked about poison ivy, but I'm just saying there are deadlier things. Like, he could really put some traps out there and really knock people off their rocker. Like, if he applied,
I mean, you see Sleeping Beauty, just put like the thorn bushes everywhere, man. Like, no one's getting through that.
Feel the vines.
These guys are.
I'm gonna give him his flowers in a couple episodes. So I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, they
digress.
So they end up running, right? Because they're like, it's a trap, and they get cut off by the Centipede dude.
Oh yeah, because he was like, I'm the fastest out of this group because I can run because I got all these legs, and I want to fight. He's like, I'm in it, and he just like rushed in without a word.
But it also kind of felt like he was more just trying to use his like looks to intimidate the group because he didn't really make any attempts to actually harm them. He grabbed the one girl, you know, that he could, because at this point Claire was already like inside the suit. The other girl had the motorcycle helmet, so he picked her up and held her up and was like, you know, don't do nothing or I'm gonna do something to her, you know. But still, he was very intimidating. He's a giant centipede. I'd be terrified.
I mean, he also used he also carried around that noggin too that he threw at her.
Yeah.
But hey, that was a good move. I'm not gonna lie.
He threw the head of the other girl that ran across there, and he was like, it was pretty rank carrying that thing around, but it paid off because it's scaring them, you know. And Claire again clocked it. Was like, he's stalling. He's stalling.
He's like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
You're like, He would have killed us if he could already. He's just trying to scare us.
Bro.
Yeah. So then they start fighting him, and that's when we find out that long hair bro could fight, right? Because before we hadn't really even seen his moves yet.
Which it was really
what was his name,
kind
Madoka?
of underwhelming, his like transformation.
The one with the tattoos, Yota.
Yota, the one with the tattoo? Who's Madoka?
Madoka, I believe, was actually the boss of the bad guy, the leader of the bad guys.
I'm terrible with names.
They throw so many. They throw such a.
They throw so Yota. You're right. Has the
Yota,
the
Madoka.
But I'm glad that you even brought up the boss too, because I was going all over the place trying to remember his name.
Madoka is what they call him. Madoka. That's what it is. That's how they say it. I kept thinking they were saying Monica.
Monica.
Like, there's no way that's his name.
The guy with the long black hair, the guy that's supposed to be like their best fighter, like
Yota.
His transformation was very underwhelming. It was just like, hey, yo, now I got these tats,
and
so now my fists are stronger,
and I'm smoking.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what they said before, where Claire was like, "You guys don't look like you have powers," and what's her name, Koyanagi, was like, well, not all of us like really wanted to change our appearance when we got our powers. You know, some of us were cool with the way we look, which is another way of saying like we're hot as fuck. Like, why would we change?
I mean, it makes sense.
I don't understand why he had to lose his shirt when his powers.
If I got to choose to get powers, I wouldn't want to turn into a monster either. So,
yeah,
that gorilla guy was pretty beefy. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, Monica, when he popped in, it looked huge.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
You freaking Kerchak.
So they beat it. Yeah. Well, the Yota ends up beating up the Centipede and like straight up, beating him to like within an inch.
Yeah, like broke his jaw.
Yeah, messed him up. And Monica takes that personally because he's like, "This is my crew." He's like, "I don't care how stupid these guys are. They're my stupid guys."
It's just of everything.
He's like, "I told you when you joined my game.
I got
too bad."
But why even when you're stupid?
Even when you're stupid.
That's what I want to know. Like, why the tooth? I'm like, you could have left that tooth in there. You could have showed 1,000 ways that you're the leader, but pull out your tooth, handed it to him like it was a trinket too. He's like, "You got my boots."
And it's funny because they really are stupid because they're all like, "Yeah,
he took off his tooth. Let's follow him to death." Like, that's all it took. What? That's all what right. We needed to get y'all in line. Goddamn. Okay.
That was it.
Yeah. And then 20. Madoka, but he's like, "Oh, dude." And like, so Yoda didn't even stand a chance against him.
He tried.
Well, weren't they saying that all the coins that they collected, like they were giving to him and like beefing him up?
Yeah. Everybody.
So like that's why he was so strong,
and he was like protecting them in return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he protected the gang in return for them giving him all the coins and then beefing his powers up.
So, and you see that part actually started making me try to like figure it out, because I thought that once you get the coin and you ask for the power, like that was the extent of your power, whatever you could imagine. And so if the coins are amplifying the power, I honestly thought that he was just cashing in at the end of the night. It was like, "Hey, yo, give me extra strength." Like, you know what I mean? Look it up.
Hey, man, I got another coin for you.
He had them like around his neck in a pouch, right? Where he was like holding him. Yeah, and so Yoda couldn't take him out. He's beefy. And that's when we see Homeboy put up the trees because they're trying to get away from him. And Monica was like, "You think this is going to stop me?"
He slapped through some trees, dog. And then he smacked Yoda with the tree, too. And I was like, he's not playing. He's not playing. Oh, my God.
Collectors, not gatherers.
It's called collectors. I thought they were gatherers.
No, I'm pretty sure it's gatherers.
I could have sworn they were gatherers.
They're gatherers.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Gathering, collecting, it's all the same in definition.
All the same thing. Tomato.
Why didn't anyone out there have like a metal detector? That's what. Oh yeah, because does it work or does it not work?
It doesn't work with like human technology or something. Like it can't be detected with like human detect. That's why like you can't see it in in cameras and stuff.
So why hasn't anyone got a coin and then wished for the power to be able to find more coins? Like, why hasn't anyone just big brained this? Dog, I would have been done in the first 30. 2 episodes in, I would have given you all the conclusion.
I want to know a lot of things. Okay, everybody in the show is dumb to me. Like, I'm like, first off, those are some dumb powers. Second off, you're using them the wrong way.
They're using them the wrong way.
Everyone's power is justifiable except for Telescope Head. I'm just like, you should have went back to school.
You just want to be a creep. You just are a creep and then just want to enhance that part of you.
Like, who are you showing these recordings to?
All your power is only good for spying on people. And 2, you're terrible at spying on people because you're a giant telescope head.
Exactly.
Like, you stand out like a sore thumb.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to notice a giant telescope head. You can't spy on nobody.
I'm surprised his powers weren't the invisible powers.
That would have made more sense.
I bet you anything the writers sat down there like, switch him. Switch the two.
That's too dangerous.
We can't make the pervert the invisible guy. Make him the people.
If we're going to make him a pervert, we're going to make it hard for him to be a pervert.
Yeah, we can give him that footer angle.
Give him a giant telescope head.
It'll never be the same, poor guy. Oh my god. I hate him.
Yeah. So
he comes in, Madoka comes in and beats up Yoda, and what's the plant guy?
His name is Issa.
Issa, yeah.
Yeah, it smacks him around a little bit.
Like, bad too, right?
Yeah.
I was like, he wasn't even doing anything, man.
Dude,
he just looks big.
Yeah.
It's like the big friend that's like, what? It's like, I hate being so big because everybody picks on me because they think I'm strong.
They think I'm strong. I'm just a big teddy bear, dog. Yeah. Poor guy. So he got beat up. And then Monica's like, I know you're hiding somebody inside you, Shuichi. So let's see what you got. And so Claire comes out. And that's when he's like, I got to kill you guys. Like, you guys killed one of my guys. I got to kill you guys. And she's like, well, you just beat 2 of our guys, like, within an inch of death. Like, if one of them dies, does that count? Like, do you really got to kill one of us?
Big brain. Big brain. I'm telling you, dude.
I'm telling you, she's the one with all the strategy here. She's the one that's coming up with the freaking plans.
Dude, I thought
which is kind of dark fun because she's like, we could just let one of them die. But at the same time, she's got a point, like, they're already about to die. Like, why come after us?
Have more people die?
Well, which one do you want to smack with the tree?
That's pretty cold. All right, nobody's allowed to kill the girl. Nobody's allowed to kill the girl because she's one of us.
I like you. You're joining my crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were like, because she was like, pretty much, we can't fight you, and he's like, but I'll let you guys pick. You guys can pick which one of y'all has to die, and it can't be her, right? Because I like her, and I'm gonna give y'all time to think about it.
That's bro. I already know who I'm voting for.
Telescope.
Yeah.
Telescope.
I won't even put the name in the box, bro. I'll just point. Like, what you mean?
I'm trying to figure out how he got in the friend group in the first place. Like,
that's a solid question.
Because it didn't really seem like anybody liked him either. Like, they were just like, he's just part of the group, man. He's got a telescope head. He's actually pretty good at scoping things out and recording stuff.
Yeah, it justified the reconnaissance.
He's pretty useful, I guess.
He's a security camera. He's not a telescope.
He's a security camera.
What is a CCTV surveillance camera?
Yeah, something like that with zoom capabilities.
That's even worse. I like him even less.
So what?
The funny thing about that is when they were trying to decide, like, okay, like, if we pick somebody, and they're like, no, we can't do that. And then he was the one that was like chiming in, that was like, yo, why? We need to pick somebody. We can't fight them. We got to, like, one person or all of us. And then that's when Claire was like, okay, what about you? And he's like, whoa, wait a second.
Such a good move.
I didn't mean me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so, because they were trying to make plans to either escape or to, like, take him out. Like, the invisible girl was like, I could sneak up behind him and, try to take him out. And Claire was like, you see how many people they have? Like, all of them have powers. Like, who's to say that one of them can't see invisible people. You
Yeah,
know,
maybe,
like
I'm gonna
we
be
don't know all
honest
their
though.
powers.
Like, it wasn't even that someone could see her. Claire knew she just wasn't built like that, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna
she
send you
wasn't
to your
gonna kill
death.
nobody. She was like,
Yeah,
she was even like
She was
scared to
probably
even
just gonna be like,
suggest
"I'll
it.
go kill him," and then just like dip.
So and so that's when the whole boy's like, "You guys are crazy. Like, there's no way we can fight them." Like, you know, and Claire's like, "You make a good point. The only option is to like sacrifice them." He's like, "Yeah, exactly." And she's like, "I'm so glad you volunteered." He's like,
it's
"What do
U.S.
you mean?"
tribute.
Yeah. She's like, "Well, I mean, this is your idea, you know, you had to consider the fact that you might be the one that gets picked, right? So it's so awesome that you're so gung-ho about this idea, knowing that there's a chance that you're going to be picked." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to be picked. It's a good idea, but I don't want to be one of the options or whatever."
It's
He's such a
hilarious that he didn't even
freaking
consider
coward,
that.
man. Yeah. Yeah. That he would give me, that he didn't even consider that being an, he's like, one of us
That
has to
him
go.
being an
But clearly it wasn't him when he said that. One
Nah,
of us, he's not included
he
in
had
us.
that far superior mentality going on. He's like, no, they need me. They need me to not see things. Like, nah, bro, you could go.
I was
He
like,
thought he
first
was
off, you already
untouchable.
messed up, and we're in this position because you are our eyes that didn't see this
And you
coming.
didn't see that they were, that they were freaking
Look,
watching over
Shuichi's
us.
nose has got more bodies than that fucking CCTV surveillance camera at this point. Like, I'm just, man, this guy, it's just, and it's crazy. I get stuck on him because the writers did such a good job at making someone that you could just easily hate. Just from the moment that you meet him, his jealous attitude, his standoffishness, like,
His
all the
character
unnecessary
design, the way he
traits.
looks, his bowl cut.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, they really nailed it when they gave him the bowl cut, for sure. Really just made me hate him even more. Want to punch.
Off the bowl cut.
Just kidding.
Minus 10 points.
Yeah. Well, so then they can't figure out, obviously they're not going to pick somebody, to sacrifice. And so they're all just kind of freaking out. And they all kind of just like do their own thing. Sal recovers and Yota recovers. Claire's like, thank goodness. Even though she was just like 5 minutes ago.
They don't need to know about that.
Yeah, one of them could die. They don't need to know about that part. She's like, oh, thank goodness they didn't die. And then she comes up with the idea for the plant guy to make those flowers. And she's like, I know, like, you guys are too good. You guys are too good to be in this game. You care about each other too much. You're too scared. You don't want to fight. So
Y'all ain't gangsters.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be a gang.
The trigger. Let me pull the trick. And it's pretty intense. I didn't get it at first because she was like, just make this flower. And Shuichi was like, what's going on? He's like, what are you doing? Why is Isao freaking out? Or what are you about to do? Like, and she kind of made it seem like she was going to sacrifice herself. Did y'all get that? Or I don't know.
No, I totally, like, when she handed him the flowers, I didn't recognize the flowers either, so I was just kind of like, okay, like, what is this for? Like,
I thought it was poison.
I figured she had something like that up her sleeve where she was like handing him those specific type of flowers because he could make more of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I figured it was some sort of like toxic.
But we gotta hand it to her because once again, when it flashback, she grabbed the planet is called Orilander. That's what it's called, and she grabbed that before they even went on an adventure into the forest. She grabbed that while she was still in town, dressed as a classmate. So
yeah, and she was like keeping it in the plastic bag
to be like, I'm gonna bring a poison plant just in case homeboy needs to grow this. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we find out that the plant is like super flammable. And when it's burned, it releases like a toxic, fast acting like poison. And so she asks him to just like fill the forest with those flowers. And then she sets them on fire and basically just smokes out the entire gang. Yeah. And they don't make it out despite security camera dude trying to warn them. Right.
That's crazy. Yeah. Ikeuchi. I've not wanted to say his name, and I've written it down far too many times for me to carry my notes.
It's too, yeah. But he tries to tell him, he tries to rat out his friends, tries to tell him, like, you guys got to run because they made this flower and this, and then
because he betrayed him, that necklace
choked him out.
Dude.
And they're like, everyone's like, what's the deal with that guy? What was that? Who was that guy? That's why I got mad at the way he fucking died.
Man,
he was a peeping Tom, a jealous hater, and he tried to rat out his friends. Yeah, I'm glad he fucking died.
He got what he got. I would have ran his pockets too.
I don't want to know what films come out. Like, films come out those pockets. I had actually, because I was so intrigued with the plan itself, I looked it up just to kind of see, like, the real life, how it affects people. Bro, they were joking. It's a real plan, right? It is a real plan, and it's a real toxic plan. There is a disclaimer that says, do not burn discarded Oleander branches as it releases toxins into the air. Apparently, the symptoms appear as fast as 30 minutes and are insanely dramatic. And it says that ingesting even a small amount can result in, like, poisonous injury or death. Like, that was a no-joke plan. Like,
dang.
And she burnt an entire field of it.
Yeah, she burned the whole thing, man. So it was acting fast. It was compounded.
God dang.
Don't mess with it. Yeah.
Don't eat it.
Well, during this, right before this happens, though, after she gets him to make the plans, her and Shuichi had, like, this conversation where she's, like, basically saying, like, I get it now. Like, you guys aren't built for this. Like, I'm built for this. Like, I'm willing to fucking kill to get what I want. And you guys are crapping your pants at the first fight, you know?
The trenches.
So, like,
I dug that. That's what it felt
like. And she's like, yeah. And so she's like, so, like, I got to do this on my own. Like, I can't bring you into this. Like, you weren't built for it. Shuichi's like, nah, we're in this together. This is where we start to see him kind of shift in personality. Like, originally he was very shy, timid, didn't want to fight,
unsure,
wasn't really sure of himself or his powers or his ability or anything
unconfident.
like that. Yeah, no confidence. And now she's talking about protecting Claire, you know, like when she was clearly like the strong one in the beginning, and the dominant one in the relationship. Now he's talking about protecting her and, like, we're in this together, we're one, you know, we're gonna do this. And it kind of throws Claire off a little bit. Like, she wasn't really expecting that. She's like, no, like, this isn't you. Like, this isn't the you from the beginning. Like, when I first met you, you wouldn't have done, you know, you wouldn't have said something like that. You wouldn't have been cool with me killing all these people right now, you know, by setting this forest on fire. Because that's what they're really talking about, is her just basically committing mass murder.
Yeah.
And Shuichi being like, yeah, let me light that flame with you. And she's like, what? No, you're supposed to be the good guy. Like, you're supposed to be the one that's like, no, we shouldn't do this. There's got to be another way, you know? And he was on board, and she's like, thrown off. It's off-putting. Like, that's not. So that's when we start to see things start to change. That was, I love, dude. I said it before the podcast, Chris. This was a good show. I liked it. I enjoyed it. That's episode 10. Episode 11 is we start to see more of, like, the background, right?
Yeah. Like a quick run through. After 11 starts with them pretty much escaping the fire, and that's where we kind of see, like, the team agreed, like, it was too much, and they all go home, and we start to see, like, their little kind of like
Day
the little
one,
connecting
they were like,
story.
yeah.
Like, we're done.
Literally, their first outing as a team, they're like, nope.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I mean,
and then the cat ears.
Yoda killed the guy.
Yeah, bro, they were still. No, also, if I remember at the beginning of that episode, they were calling Ikeuchi, like, they're calling his cell phone. He's like, he's not picking up his phone. He's still in the mountains.
Oh yeah, they're still trying. Oh yeah, they're still trying to find him.
Yeah, bro.
He betrayed them, and they're still, like, concerned about him. Like, they didn't even know. Like, they
didn't even know he got killed.
They thought he was just a casualty. They didn't know that he betrayed them. Yeah, they were still concerned about it. And they were all shook up, like Yoda and that other dude were like freaking out, like crying. Like they were like, I can't do this, man. Like we can't do this. Like, we got to turn in our coins. We just got to get rid of them. Just turn in our coins. Like we can't fight these people.
Gotta cash
and
out.
The messed up thing is like, okay, like yeah, I get it. Like you don't want to do this anymore. Give your coins to like the rest of the squad. Like give them to Claire,
Shuichi,
Shuichi.
Claire. They were asking for, it, and they're like, "No, we're gonna give them to the people that just tried to kill us."
Mm-hmm.
Or not them.
No, give it to
Elena.
Yeah.
Elena.
They went to give them to Elena, and I'm like, didn't we tell you that's
she's
the opposite?
She's the opposite.
Like, come on, man. Like,
but at the same time, like everybody else is pretty convinced that she's not though. Everybody else is pretty convinced that Elena. They're like, no, I know Elena. Like she's like
she wouldn't do that.
Person. She's like super sweet, and Claire's like, she killed my mom and dad. I'm trying to tell you, and she
that's
tried
my
to
sister.
kill me.
I know her better. That's my sister.
That's my sister. I know her better. Oh my god.
Yeah. So episode 11. Yeah, they're all saying nah. He still is like, I'm still bugged out by Shuichi saying that he didn't go to that, or that he went to that school, but he didn't have any friends. When I very clearly remember him being surrounded by friends.
And that's when you find out that his memory has been messed
gone.
with.
Yeah.
And
so what was it?
I think also the big part of that episode was when because they all try to avoid each other because they're afraid that one of them survived the fire, and one does end up surviving the fire because he tries to go after Shuichi.
Yeah. They're afraid that one of Madoka's crew, one of the gang members from the forest survived. Yeah, the dude with the rag and the sword. I'm like,
what is his power?
Also,
can someone
his
explain
power
that
was,
to me?
I got a sword.
You can't be a blind samurai. Like, what? Like,
was his power the sword, or was his power to be blind? Like, if he was already blind, why wouldn't he just get vision?
That's bro. So I'm contemplating because honestly, like, Claire's not there.
I think his power was he's like, hey, give me some drip, because he did look really cool.
Hey, no, he had the passion.
He looked like he didn't belong there.
He looked cool.
I was like, yo, this dude looks like he's gonna do something. And little to behold, he got beat by like Shuichi without even Claire's help. Like, I'm like, well, that was very underwhelming.
Coming here looking like Strider Ryu and getting knocked out. That's insane.
Which is a big turning point for Shuichi, because it does show that, he does want to protect Claire, and he is going to do it with or without her help. He wants to do it without her help, really.
He got in his Hitman bag,
He wants to be strong enough.
He's starting to be, his Punisher vibe is coming out. Like, he's
pulled out the black.
Yeah, he's like, listen, Claire.
Pulled out the gat.
Yeah. I realized how shooken up you were after our last situation, so I'm just going to go rogue and taking people out on my own.
He hung up on her, and then he told her that up, and I was like, oh my god.
Claire, she was on the phone with Claire. He's like, guess what I'm doing right now?
Don't worry about me. I'll see you later.
Did you just kill?
No, Claire's response. Did you just hang up on me?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because after that, they try to go. They're like kind of trying to go about their lives like normal or something like that, and going to school. And that's when Shuichi finds out that one of his classmates was missing. It was the classmate that, I don't know if you remember in an earlier episode, he ran into him like outside of a gas station, and
that was actually
it was like
on
a weird
8.
interaction. Yeah, he's like, I've never seen those guys before, and he was like friends with them or whatever. It was like a dead animal. He was like burying the dead animal.
Yeah, if you recall, he was burying the dead dog.
Yeah,
it turns out his friend was a part of that group that
part of that
them.
gang. So that was him being a part of that gang.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they were like, "Hey, yo, have you seen him? He went missing."
It's like,
he put 2 and 2 together and was like, "Dang, he died in the freaking fire."
He died in the fire.
I killed my friend.
Gang.
That was also another big thing too, because it was during the fight with that swordsman guy. Like, after he gave him the old 1-2 buckle my shoe, he asked him, he's like, what was the guy's name? Abukawa. Abukawa. There you go.
Yeah, that was his name.
He's like, why did Abukawa join you? Like, he was never that kind of person. He was such a great guy. Like, I knew him in school. And the swordsman was like, bro, there's two sides to every person. Like, you only see what they want you to see. And
Two sides to every
you got a
coin.
point, because Shuichi's over here shooting people now. You need the same. So,
gold
I believe it.
coin.
The gold coins.
Yeah, we do see that, and after that, Shuichi gets pissed and goes to the alien.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And
That's true.
yeah, he's like, why am I like this? Why am I a mascot? Like, yeah, like, why did I choose? Like, why don't you just tell me? Like, you have to know why I picked this power. Like, why don't you just tell me what happened? Like, what's going on? And the alien's like, listen, man. He's like, I'm just trying to have some fun. Honestly, this kind of got out of hand. But
For real, though.
He's so nonchalant about this.
He's like, but I can make you, he's like, I can make you human again if you just give me your coins. And Shuichi's like, nah, F that. I'm going to get the 100 coins and I'm going to make everything back the way that it was.
Too bad.
And I'm going to do it my way. And he storms off. And that's when the alien starts thinking about Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's when we learn about Hanukkah. Which
and
is
how
kind
it all began.
Yeah. I feel like episode 11, episode 11 went by pretty quickly. In episode 11.
No, that's really what it was. You know, episode 11, they came back from the forest. They all kind of like explained their feelings about what happened. They try to keep their distance from each other.
They gave the coins to Elena, and
that was episode 13. That was the last episode when Chihiro was under the bridge and was like sliding the coins there. So that was like the climax, because that's also when
that was the end.
Shuichi jumped in, discovered them too. Because even Issa tried to stop him from finding out too. So it got messy. That's where it got.
That was mainly the main thing that happened in that episode was Shuichi killing the blind samurai.
Yeah, and again, we're starting to see like this dark side of Shuichi come out.
His
like
friend was part of the gang.
He's definitely shifted his perspective from like, kind of this, again, like this timid character who's like non-confrontational, into like this cold-blooded killer, man. Remember when Claire made him pull the trigger in that first fight when they first killed that one girl, and he was like all shook up about it. He was like freaking out about it. And now he pulls the trigger on the swordsman
on his own,
like without even blinking, man. And he's able to transform. I
think his
he could always do that.
He just kind of
the amount of abuse that he
it.
went through. I think that's what it was, because it's almost like not Stockholm syndrome, but like a desensitization. Like
exactly,
beforehand, he had a conscience and he felt, and then after murder and it's like kill or be killed, like he kind of just settled into it. Like, dude, they need to die, because if it's not them, it's us. Like it's there's no middle.
You gotta stop until everybody's dead. Until everybody's dead, or until we
he let Claire take kind of control, let him pull the trigger for him, but he was kind of still holding the gun. Then kind of took off the training wheels, and he was able to do it himself now.
Do you think that he's actually changing to be closer to Claire? Like, do you think like that's the kind of person he feels he needs to be, in order to like really protect her or be there for her the way she needs it to be? Because I could see that as one of the driving factors for him to do such a drastic change from like who he originally was.
Well, their relationship that they have is very toxic. It's like Claire said, like, if you die, I die.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like very like, I can't live without you type toxic.
Yeah, it's that very like emotionally manipulative kind of relationship where it's like
it's very codependent.
It is codependent for sure.
Yeah. And then episode 12, we start to see kind of the origins of like this game, right, with the coins, and we learn about Hanukkah and how she was really like the first one to meet the alien, right? And we saw like that weird, goofy, like alien, picture of him, and then she was like, "That's what you look like," and he's like, "No, that's not what I look like." He's like, "I don't really even know what I look like anymore," and then he changes it to like a human, and it's like, so like, what are who is this guy?
How do you not know?
Is he even an
I've
alien?
changed my shape so many times, I don't even know what I look like anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And we find out that like he actually was supposed to be looking for his friends, but just like had no motivation to do it. He was like, they're like somehow enlightened. What did he say? Enlightened and full of themselves at the same time, or something like that, where like they think they're better than everything. And he clearly like enjoys like all this junk food, the anime, the manga, and like all that stuff. And so he had no interest in finding them because he's like, why? They're boring. I don't want to hang out with them.
You got a taste of the human life, man. That's hard.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
Anime's
good.
tight, bro.
That is true. Yeah, for real.
And Haneka's like, well, like, why don't you just like set up a vending machine and get other people to find them for you, and then you could just grant their wishes whenever they find them. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, what's your wish? She's like, me.
The first wish.
That was the first wish.
It was clean.
Which was?
What was the wish?
What
did she wish for?
Did it specify, or did it cut to everyone else? I don't recall what the wish was.
Well, we know that she ended up wishing to become Aiko.
Mm-hmm.
That was that's later, I thought. After Aiko.
I feel like because what else happened in 12? That's when Kaito. That's we see a lot of the.
That's when we learn about like the original gang.
Yeah, the original cram school,
Elena
6 and all of them,
which Shuichi was included in them.
Yeah,
and we learn about this guy.
That Issa guy was right, dude. He used to see him with other kids there. So yeah, that was another big indicator that Shuichi's memory was
and
like
Kaito.
tampered with. Yeah, Kaito. There we go.
Learn about him as well.
He
was part of the group, like, original 6.
They jumped him in. They gave him a full backstory. Like he might as well be the second main character, but like he's the main antagonist, right? Like he's the end boss.
They set him up as the end all villain, the guy that they're gonna have to get through to get to the spaceship, basically.
Yeah,
because their main plan was to find the spaceship. They're like, why do we need to search for individual coins when we can find the crash site? And there should be a bunch of coins over there. But we learn in that episode that what if somebody had already found 100 coins?
Mm-hmm.
And that somebody is Kaito and he's guarding the ship, the crash site, with all the coins. So anybody that gets close, he just kills with his power.
Which is pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy.
The angel with the Buster Sword, come on, bro! Like that.
Pretty
I thought, what was the other guy, Suzuki, or the one with the 2 2 body massive monster that crushed Shuichi?
Yeah, I thought
that was some peak like transformation there. But yeah, no.
Kaito was kind of hard, actually.
You know what it reminds me of? I don't know if y'all have ever played the game of Guilty Gear, but there is one character in there, and her name is Dizzy, and both of her wings, because she's supposed to be an angel, one wing takes the form of an actual angelic being, and then the other wing takes the form of like death itself. It's really cool. She looks really cool. No, and then like her abilities, like they pretty much incorporate, like if you use like attacks with your left wing, they're more angelic, more holy, more beings. But then if you use like the right wing, the death wing, then it's more like melee, come out with the scythe, like demons coming out the ground. Like it's a really cool character. So that's those were the vibes I was getting when I was seeing that. I was like, damn, that's awesome.
I did think that was pretty cool that like you don't necessarily have to transform yourself so you can get like a stand. That's basically what they have. He has the angel that comes up behind him, and then the other guy has the mom and dad figures that come out to protect the boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, so it could really be like limitless, like to your imagination.
Yeah.
Like whatever powers you can think of.
And it is interesting to see how they manifest in that way. Yeah, especially
because isn't it like that? It's like
the powers. It's like your innermost,
your subconscious will is what manifests the powers.
It's if you can wish and know like in your heart exactly what you want, you'll get that. But if you're vague, then that's when your wish digs into your subconscious and kind of like pulls together what it thinks what you're wanting, and then that's what you become.
Yeah, like the Centipede.
Bro, I don't know. I just thought he wanted to be creepy and scary and fast, and they were like,
he just wanted to be intimidating.
I want to be intimidating. Fast. I want to be like imagine like I can run pretty fast with 2 legs. What if I ran with like 100 legs?
Oh my god! I was like, I was thinking about it too because I was like, dang, what if I got a gold coin and I made a wish, and then my dumbass is over here like, oh yeah, you want to be a spider. So I've already fucked myself out of everything on my head. It's like, never mind. Don't give me powers because I don't know what to do. I'll just be Spider-Man.
It's like the movie. Have you ever seen the movie The Fly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the beginning, it's like he gets all the cool things about being a fly, and then slowly it starts turning bad.
Like the form monster into a fly. Oh my god.
Towards the end, I'll be like, "This was a mistake.
This was a bad idea. Go back, undo.
Oh no, it all went wrong." Oh my gosh. Yeah, so me and choosing powers, like that's not a thing.
Yeah, I feel like these powers are more like
power would be
like a genie's powers. Like, be careful what you wish for, you know.
Yeah, like the monkey's paw type thing.
Like the monkey's paw, yeah.
So wait, y'all guys didn't think about like if y'all just had like a random ability to get powers per wish, like what would y'all guys want to do? Like,
I mean, if we're talking about like superpowers,
like anything. Oh come on, like we have Mr. CCTV over here, so nothing's off the table.
I've always wanted to teleport. I've always thought teleporting
was going to be
mine.
Teleporting such
like I just want to go anywhere, anytime.
What was that movie? Jumper.
Dude,
that movie was so.
That was so fire.
I wanted to be a jumper, dude.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to, like anywhere. Not like Nightcrawler, because that's like teleporting here to down the street. Like I'm talking about like jumping from here to like.
Literally like if he just saw a picture of it. He
just
saw a picture of it, he could jump into it.
That was what's up. That is true.
Do it.
But I don't want to leave any jump scars that people can follow me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, those little tears, right? They can open up those little portals.
I don't need nobody following me.
I've always thought teleporting would be cool. This show though, it's kind of interesting because you could almost become like who's the friend that they made, like the Black Knight guy, like he.
Well, Sanbei,
like Sanbei, like you could almost become like a whole ass like anime character. Like I could wish to be like Goku if I wanted, you know, or like. With this guy, you know, especially he's a huge anime fan. Yeah,
like, bro, you know what? My God,
you don't even have to wish for like one power. You could just
wish for Shinra, and then we could just kickstart everything. Like, wait a minute, just wish for the Dragon Balls. Yeah. Oh my God,
I don't even have to deal with your dumb ass.
I'm thinking too small here. I'm thinking way too small.
I'm gonna go with Shenron, bro.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was just thinking of like all the wishes I can make and all the loopholes and
other loopholes.
There's always a loophole, man. There's always a loophole.
He's gonna have like a Gurren Lagann mech in his backyard. We're not gonna be able to question it. It's just his fan. Like it's there.
That'd be tight.
So we learned about the original squad and that.
Right. So who's the original squad? So we've got Elena.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we find out she's part of the original squad, and Shuichi. Kaito, we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Hanukkah, Aiko, and the last one is Naoto.
Yeah, the homeboy, the short hair.
And we've seen him. He's said a few things, but we don't really know much about him and his ability. He's running with Elena right now, but he was one of the original crew, and he was actually dating Aiko, right? So it's like Shuichi and Elena, Naoto and Aiko, and then Hanukkah always had a crush on Naoto, but he was already taken. And Kaito had a crush on Hanukkah, right? They were like childhood friends.
I'll tell you.
And they grew up, and Naoto's like still hanging out with Kaito, and he's dating Aiko, and he goes, Aiko's been kind of weird lately. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know. We went to the movies, and I don't know. She's been kind of weird. And he's like, well, I don't know. I've always thought she was weird anyways. I don't even know why you're dating her. And and then he suggests a reunion with the whole crew, because I guess they all went to different high schools or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
at the park.
School reunion.
At the park, yeah.
Yeah, they meet back up, and they're like, where's Hanukkah? Kaito's like, where's Hanukkah? And they're all like, ooh, you didn't know? And he's like, what do you mean? And now that's who he really wanted to see, right? We know.
Let's be honest. Yeah, that's
he had
why
a crush on her.
You got a little butthurt.
And Aiko's being like real standoffish about it. She's like, it's whatever. She wouldn't want us to be sad. Let's go get some ice cream. Or what if she's like, forget about it, man. Like, just get over it, dude. Like, she's dead. There's nothing you can do about it. And he's like, that's kind of fucked up. Like, even for Aiko, like, that's kind of messed up. So he starts like, he's like, I gotta look into this, I can't figure out
he's
what
like,
happened.
she is acting funny.
Yeah. And so, she is acting funny. Yeah. and then she does the hair twirl.
The subconscious twitch.
He's like, I've seen that before, and that's when he starts following her, right? That's what Aiko says, let's go to karaoke, which is so weird to say after you just found out like your childhood friend like killed herself,
And it's like, dang, they really died. Anyways, so sad. Karaoke, anybody?
Yeah, her dad killed somebody, so she killed herself. But yeah, let's go sing. Come on, guys, let's go.
Yeah, let's go sing some songs.
That's appropriate.
And he starts following her, and he's like, this is kind of weird. He tries to find out what happened to Hanukkah. She goes back to the family that she was staying with, and they're like, she's not here. She hasn't been here a long time. If you see her, tell her never come back because we don't like her. And he's like, that's really weird too.
That's crazy. Where they do that at?
And that's when he finds out about the alien. And he finds out that that the alien can grant powers, and that Hanukkah knew the alien. And he finds out that Hanukkah wished to become Aiko. And like, you killed Aiko, didn't you? You killed her so you could take her spot. I know it. And she's like, what does it matter? She's gone. But I guess the truth comes out. Yeah, she's like, I could have never really been her. She was the best, and I was sucked.
I tried.
And I wasn't.
I could fill the shoes. They're just a little too big.
And he's like,
yeah.
He's like,
literally, he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do then. And he kills her. He strangles her.
He killed her to take revenge on Hanukkah for killing Aiko. And then he meets up with the group. And he's like, you never believe what I just found out, right? And they're like, oh yeah, no, we found out too. Pretty crazy that Aiko killed herself, right? And he's like, what?
The mental gymnastics of that revelation for him was rough.
You mean Hanukkah didn't kill her? And he's like, no, apparently like Aiko was like super sad or whatever, and she like killed herself. And he's like, damn, so then why did I kill Hanukkah? And we were talking about this before the podcast started, where we're like, he's so twisted that he's like, I'm so good, I'm bad. He's like, so I killed the wrong person? He's like, no, I didn't kill the wrong person. The wrong person died. I killed the right person. I restored balance to this world. It's like,
he was the light Yagami of this anime. He was just like, I gotta be the one and only person that fixes it.
No one can solve this. No one can
I know what the righteous thing to do is.
He's like, no, I didn't make a mistake by killing her. No, she made the mistake by pretending to be somebody who killed themselves.
It's crazy. He's like, I just made it come full circle.
And if you don't think about it, it makes perfect sense.
If you don't think about it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The less I know, the better. It's crazy.
The less I know, the better. And that's when I feel like that's when they all decide that they need to get powers to stop Kaito, because now Kaito has become like this
hollow shell of himself.
Who's like, I need to make sure that nobody else, nobody else gets a hold of these coins, and that ends up like Hanukkah and Aiko. These coins are corrupting people, so I'm going to kill anybody who tries to get their hands on it.
And at the same time,
which like doesn't make, he's like,
doesn't what's her name's ghost been appearing throughout the town?
Yeah,
Aiko's ghost, right?
Aiko's ghost has been appearing around town and just completely sending people to the oblivion.
Yeah,
but the weird thing is, Aiko's ghost looks like Hanukkah, right?
Yes,
and so Aiko's ghost has been like haunting the bridge and like asking people like, "Who am I?"
And they're like, "Oh, you're Hanukkah."
Dies. She's like, and this
wrong.
Kills him.
I think that the body swap, like, she never actually died, and I think if they were to ever meet each other, like, they would become whole in like this weird ass fusion. Like, that's what I think is going on here. You know what I mean? Like, if a party was missing.
Like when they did the body, because I didn't really understand that part, if I'm being honest.
No, I didn't either, but that's all I'm trying to rationalize.
I was like, where did this come from?
Like, she's just an entity roaming around looking for like her body in a way. You know what I mean?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is that Kaito's ability just like running amok?
No, Kaito's ability is busted.
Yeah, because I thought his ability was homegirl coming down.
The angel.
No, Eric,
with the freaking gut
can you
sword.
pull up the stats? His ability is called like Rebirth or something like that. Like, he's like this
names his ability Rebirth.
Like, he's like this omnipotent, invincible guy.
He
like,
became immortal. And his body's indestructible, and he can regenerate with centipedes inside his body. He can also revive any person as long as its body hasn't started to rot, and control it, ignoring its will.
He killed her, got the abilities, and now she works for him.
Kaito is the only collector to receive a wish due to personally retrieving 100 coins.
So if he's the one that got 100 coins and he's guarding the ship, he's supposed to be the end-all boss.
Bro, he's essentially
the raid boss,
from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, his body's
he is.
That's all.
He's Oogie Boogie.
He's dead ass.
He's filled with bugs.
He's the human Oogie
Is it
Boogie,
better to be a bug or be filled with bugs?
Be filled with bugs. Imagine.
Hey, what's that riddle with the ship, where it's like, if you replace every board of the ship, is it still the same ship? Or is it a new ship? Like, if you just replace it piece by piece.
And eventually every piece is replaced.
Is it still the same ship, or is it a new ship?
Interesting.
If you replace your body with centipedes, are you still a human, or are you just a centipede? you just a centipede wearing a trench coat.
That's what I always wondered about Oogie Boogie. It's like, was he the centipede, or was like he the bag that the centipedes were in?
He was the duffel bag. I think he was.
Was he the burlap sack, or was he the bugs?
What are they?
But he would eat bugs too.
Yeah, well, I think that's like he replenishes his body.
And he would eat bugs. Would the bugs he ate become part of his bug mass?
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah, like, what do they call those monsters where they have a core, but they're just like multiple entities?
Golems.
Yeah,
he's a golem with a core somewhere.
Like, it's just a bunch of things just moving as one sentient.
Who's to say he's dead? I didn't see his core get destroyed.
That's true.
Anyway, back to it.
Okay, we flown all over the place just to get to episode 13. Let's land this plane, guys.
All that to say, well, and in episode 12, all that, so we're getting all that backstory, this whole time. We're very clearly seeing Shuichi being close with Elena and the rest of the group, this cram school that he supposedly didn't have any friends with, and very clearly knew about the coins and the powers. In fact, it was his idea that they should get powers because he found a coin. And it was his idea. And then, so this is a completely different Shuichi from the beginning of the show, who had no idea why he could suddenly turn into a mascot, didn't know anything about the coins, had no idea doesn't know Elena, doesn't recognize her, remembers going to that school, but doesn't remember having any friends.
He was the only one in the
and we just watched a whole episode of flashbacks where he's had childhood best friends like his whole life. And so Claire, remembering that weird little confrontation between him and Isai, where he talks about that cram school and Shuichi saying that he never had any friends there. While this is all happening, while we're seeing this, she actually goes to that school. It's like empty and run down. And she's looking around and she sees the mascot that Shuichi turns into, but it's like a tiny little stuffed toy or something in the corner of the room. Yeah, it's a keychain. And she's like, that's it. Like, so she calls him, and that's when we find out that's the phone call at the end of the last episode where he's fighting the swordsman in the junkyard. And she's like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? I need to talk to you. Like, because, yeah, I just uncovered some shit. And he's like, I'll be right back. And then Chihiro calls Elena and is like, hey, we need to talk. We want out. And that's how episode 12 ends, right? And now we get to the final episode. And I'm sad because there's no more episodes after this. And there's clearly more story. I could read the manga, but
Look, honestly,
this is an anime podcast, not a manga podcast.
This is one of those shows, and it's almost like if you know the audience, if you've ever seen what is it, The Devil's a Part-Timer, you just kind of hope that even if it's been 10 years, that you know the studio kind of looks at it and is like, you know what, maybe we should continue this.
Yeah, a lot of people like this show. Maybe we'll bring it back.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe they're waiting for more mangas.
Have been waiting years, so it's pretty bleak, but I'm hopeful.
When did
same with like Dead Man Wonderland. That's probably never going to get another season 2. So
when did this anime come out?
You know, they need to stop reviving these old shows. That's what they need to do. Let's see.
It's been 4 years since it came out.
Yeah, they need to start finishing these shows. Yeah. So the final episode, episode 13. Is we 2 or 1. Shuichi, remember we said he decided I'm going to get all 100 coins. And so he tries to talk to the crew and tell them like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Give me all the coins that you got. And I'm going to go get the rest of them. And I'm going to put an end to this. And they're like,
it was kind of weird because it's like when they said that, what was her name? The leader of the group, was it Kanekawa? Yeah, Koyanagi. She was telling him like, hey, let's not fight it. We're all done. Let's give them the coins, you know?
Yeah.
She even released everybody's necklace too.
She did.
That's
yeah.
right,
And
like
she
they
sent
just
a message
fell
like,
off.
hey, we're disbanding. We're done.
Yeah, that's like the symbolism that she's like,
dude, imagine if you were just in a different place and hair just like fell off you like that, like you can't you can't explain it away.
You like, come off my neck?
What was that?
Is that my neck full?
Gotta watch better.
Imagine you had like a job interview and just like,
anyways,
so my strengths are
I would have to say,
I feel like I'm a great candidate.
I'm a perfectionist.
I'm unpredictable.
But yeah, so yeah, she was. But Chihiro was the one who was like, because Chihiro, I guess her and Elena were cool or something, or she really likes Elena or something. Because she was inside of Shuichi's mind,
and she knows
everything.
She knows the truth.
Yeah, her attachment to Elena after the fusion, it's something that's pretty interesting because she went from really being a background character to almost a pivotal player, the way she's actively trying to sabotage the mission or trying to really, or even bring Claire and Shuichi or Elena and Shuichi back together, like in this weird way. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why, but she really is working hard for it. Let's see. What did they fight about it? Oh yes, so they agreed on giving the coins. And then this is where we start to see Claire start using her brain and honing in on Shuichi being just an absolute weirdo. Like, you know, they're walking by the river and they're having that little conversation. She makes the joke about maybe we can, you know, go to your place and this time, like, it's on me. And he's like, no, like, it's okay. Like, we don't gotta do all that.
Oh, she says we can bone. We can go back to my place and bone. And he's like, what? No, we're not going to do that. And he's like, she's like, why? 90s? You did it with that helmet, girl. Like, no, I did it.
He had to throw it out there. And did you watch him transform into a dog, too?
Yeah, he started getting weird.
He turned into a dog.
But yeah, and Claire shows him the doll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do we see the part where they go to his house?
So that was after the...
Is this episode 13?
Yeah, and that was after the little playful spat they had
13.
By the little river.
By the
after
river,
that,
right?
You know, Shuichi's like, yeah, you know what? Come over to my house. Like, come to my house.
And that's when you can really tell, like, his mind has been messed with.
Dude, that honestly tripped me out.
That was creepy. Because earlier in the series, I think it was like 9 or 10, we do see him go home. And we don't see his parents. But yeah, and he goes and like lays down in his bed and it looked pretty normal. Empty. You don't see his parents. But it looked pretty normal. And then he finally is like, yeah, you can come over, fine. And he's like, don't worry about the mess. I've been meaning to clean up or whatever. And he's like, and my parents aren't here. They're working late. And that place is covered in dust. Like, nobody's been living there for weeks. Like,
plants are dead, decayed.
They're like, yeah, the plants are dead. There's food. There's like food on the table that was like wrapped up that I guess like he saved for his parents or something, or like their dinner and that bad, like it's all moldy or something.
Flies are around. He goes
and like gets him a couple of drinks and he's just not acknowledging it at all. That's the creepiest part. Is that he just wasn't.
He doesn't see any problem.
Doesn't see
normal. It's almost like it's not there.
Yeah.
And Claire's like, when's the last time you saw your parents? And he's like, well, I don't know. They've been working a lot lately, so I don't really get to see them that often. She's like, no, Shuichi, when was the last time you saw your parents? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, what is going on? She's like, are you
she's
crazy?
Like, it's not just my parents, it's your parents too.
Yeah.
She's like,
I think your parents are gone, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, your parents are dead. Like, wake up. Like, look around you. This place it's a ghost town.
And he flips on her for it, though.
He flips on her. He starts like taking her clothes off.
Yeah.
I think it's real weird.
And she's just like, go for it.
Man, of course. She's always 10 toes. It's crazy.
I know. She's always like,
never falters, never wavers.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, it's bad because I'm like, man, come on. Like, you've gotten so many chances, Shuichi, just do it. But, like, honestly, like, if she was just like, go for it, like, I wouldn't want to either. I'd be like,
I mean,
I'm gonna act like that.
If you're a mascot of a dog, just go get the bone, bro. Go ahead.
No, not the bone. She said we could bone. She said it was her idea. She put it in his head. She can't take it back. No, she definitely can, guys. Everybody knows.
Consent.
Everybody knows.
Respectfully.
Yes. Respectfully.
But she really does, though. She's like, I guess if this is what it takes or whatever. And he's like freaking out. And he starts having flashbacks to Elena. And him and Elena sitting on the couch. And he's like, what's going on? Like, why was she there? Like, what was she upset about? And what happens? Like, they leave the house?
So after that happens, that's when Shuichi's like, all right, well, I'm going to go
get the control
coins.
of himself again.
Yeah, and he starts going for the
back
coins.
to reality.
And I think he meets up with Issa and Yota. And Issa's like, I'm not giving you the coins. Like, you don't need them. Like, and I think, I got to hand it to Issa because I understand on one layer, like, he really does have a bit of resentment for what he was asked to do. But he's still a genuine good guy, and he was worried about them. And he knew that if he gave him those coins, like, the path was going to be. There's no other path after that.
Yeah, right. after they pretty much committed mass murder in that forest. Yeah,
Like
you
that's
saw
it.
Yeah, I think I'd be out
it.
after that too.
He was
I thought we were just looking for
he was
coins,
pretty
not
heated
killing a
about
bunch of
it.
people.
Yeah, and I feel like to the other extent too, he says like, "You're crazy. Like, why are you gonna do this? You know, you have to be crazy. And you know what? You are crazy because I remembered you having friends at that school. You didn't go to school by
Dog, yeah, no,
yourself, bro.
he was stuck on that school for
He was stuck on. He's like, I'm not crazy.
He's like, I
I
know you
remember.
had classmates.
I remember because I remember that blonde haired dude looking like Super Saiyan Goku, and I wanted to look like him. That's I remember. You had friends. Don't pretend like you didn't. So you're freaking me out, man. Get out of here.
It's freaking me out, man.
And Chihiro, she goes and meets up with Elena.
Yes.
And Claire is like, obviously, they're not going to give us the points. So Claire is like off trying to figure out what they are actually trying to do. And that's when she starts like, she finds like the invisible girl or whatever. And she's,
well, she hit it with,
like,
with a bucket of water and kicked her butt into a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hotter.
She's like, I don't know what you guys are up to, but you're bad at it. You guys are terrible at being the bad guys.
He's like, you sucked at using your powers then. You suck at using your powers now.
She's like, you're only in it because you got a crush on the main girl, which is crazy because the main girl was all up on me and I didn't even have to try.
Dang.
Which is just, the disrespect that Claire pulls sometimes is like, dude, you don't have to say it with your chest
Claire,
like that.
chill.
Claire,
savage.
Daddy, chill.
The fucking invisible girl's just like, fuck it. When she said, she's like, slut or something.
You got nothing for that. You just like,
well, all right. And so they end up meeting with Elena under the bridge, and Claire and Elena, or what happens? Oh, Claire shows the doll to Shuichi, and he starts getting his memories back.
And then Dad opened up a whole can of worms because Hanako's ghost picked up on the connection, because that's what made her run rampant. Like anytime she sensed a strong connection, she would appear and just pretty much obliterate that person.
Which makes me think
relationship, right?
Yeah,
like a strong. So the relationship between Shuichi and Elena just like exploded when he got all his memories back.
I also want to like just do a small backtrack because I want to point out that when Claire and Shuichi got together, like they finally became one. Bro, the power scaling, that was pimp. Like that was the best fight in the entire
that
series.
final fight.
Dude,
that final fight was intense.
That's what I wanted to see in all the fights. Like, bro,
that's what I was hoping for when they went into the forest.
Yeah, like,
and we didn't really get a lot of that. I was like, I was really expecting a tournament. If I'm being honest,
God, you're expecting. I mean, look who picked it.
I wanted to see more fights, more powers, more abilities, and all I saw was the main group get stomped and run with their tail between their legs.
And you know, that's also one thing that I wish that if they could change a lot of the characters that we saw in the forest during the conflict. They were shadows. Like they didn't show like their bodies. And I almost wish, like, I wanted to see, like, what is your imagination? Like, what else could these people possibly be? Because, you know, one guy looked like a giant goblin with a big head. Then you got Centipede Man running around. You know, we had that one guy that looks like a T-Rex for some weird reason. I'm not judging him. We had that eyeball guy who could see just like CCTV guy, but, like, at least his makes sense.
That's like, the one thing that I really feel like they really didn't put a lot of thought into. Like, there's like, okay, yeah, there's a big group of them, but I really can't think of what they're all going to look like. So we'll just figure out like a few and then just shadow out the rest.
One of the
and
two,
all of these powers are really
budget.
Unique. Yeah, all these powers are really unique. It's not a theme. Like a lot of times when you have a show like this where everybody gets powers, a lot of times they have like a theme. Like they're all like elemental powers. They're all like or they have like categories, right? In this one, it really is just like a imagination run wild type thing. Like everybody is different, and so everybody would have drastically different types of abilities, especially when you take into consideration like how it feeds off of their innermost desires.
In hindsight, the vending machine anime could be canon in this world. Just throwing it out there.
So in time I was reincarnated as a vending machine.
So I mean, I'm gonna throw it out there.
That's what you don't see is that it starts off with him giving a coin to the alien and saying like, this machine's actually pretty cool. Have you ever thought about it? Oh my God, I'm a vending machine now.
He's just standing on the corner. Keep people up with drinks and beverages,
yeah. But yeah, so that final episode, it's intense. So much happens in such like a small period of time because
they crammed a lot.
Shuichi gets his memories back. The Hanukkah's ghost shows up. Shuichi almost answers the question, which would that's an instant death if you answer the question wrong.
Right? Yeah, it's like disintegration, like Thanos snap style.
The Thanos snap, bro. Disappear.
Yes.
I don't
Elena's
feel good,
like
Mr.
freaking
Stark.
out.
Elena shows up and she's like, "Don't say it."
Yeah, don't say it, and immediately erases all of his memories. And then it says here that that's when we find out that Kaito actually had all the coins and that he was keeping them safe at the spaceship and preventing anybody from getting a hold of them. And that Elena erased Shuichi's memory so that he wouldn't know about the spaceship and wouldn't end up being a target because Kaito's like targeting everybody who's like seeking out the coins. And so that's what happens. But it's like one of those like you can't change fate or something. So even with him being like having all of his memories erased after that, so Hanukkah's ghost disappears. Shuichi doesn't remember anything anymore, but he says, I don't care. I'm still going after this spaceship. I'm going to take out anybody because I'm getting these coins and I'm making everything back to the way that it was.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the show.
That leads to the final fight, which was a good fight. That was between Elena and,
Oh yeah, when they finally
and
become one.
We two are one.
Those power punches. Honestly, the power punches, the speed.
It was a lot more even of a fight than when they first encountered Elena and got their head ripped off.
Yeah, and I know the budget is a factor, but I was really hoping that they'll become one. Like I thought he was gonna become like the way he did Chihiro with the black cat aesthetic.
Yeah, where it actually like changed his appearance.
Like I was wondering what it would look like with Claire.
Once.
Like how would Claire fuse into that? You know what I mean? And I know her gun's probably gonna be like a Ruger or something like just astronomically powerful, like a Desert Eagle, just chopping out the seams. But it's okay. Part of me, I'm not even gonna lie, I might actually go out of my way and read this manga because I do kind of want to see where it follows and where it goes. I don't mind this one, especially, again, it might be 10 plus years until we get an anime, but
I was holding off this long for a season 2, specifically because this is an anime that not a lot of people have watched. I haven't been able to find anybody else that has seen it, and I've been able to talk about it. So I'm like, I haven't gotten around to read the manga because no one else cares about this anime as much as I have. So, but now that we've watched it and covered it, I'm probably going to get around to reading them.
Okay, yeah. So
it is really interesting, and it is different from a lot of the other animes that I've watched, and I am really invested in this story. This alien dude, like, I need to know where he comes, what becomes and what his like real backstory is, like what's the purpose of all of these coins and all that. And then is it because he says it's like it was kind of just like a game and then you guys kind of like ran away with it, and it's like, what do you mean, like what do you mean it was just a game, like that. And I also want to see more of these other abilities. Like we still really don't know what like Naoto can do, and those other two people that are running with Elena.
So do y'all guys want to cry? Y'all want to hear some sad information that I just dug up?
If it's a spoiler, no.
If it's the manga, isn't.
It's not. The
manga is not over, and it's not going. It.
Okay, so season 2 was actually confirmed and it was slated. Guess when to come out? July of 2021. And what was happening during July of 2021? It got COVID.
Damn.
It got killed by COVID. There was a confirmed season 2 for this anime, and it actually got sniped. It got shelved. So wow, okay. So I mean, that's a big eye opener. I wasn't expecting to do some digging and actually come across.
I was gonna say, because this seems like this is a really good show. I feel like there probably is a good audience out there that's looking forward to a season 2.
The way they ended this show, like it was almost like it would be insane not to have a season 2.
Yeah,
like
it ended on such a cliffhanger, introducing the setup for the next season.
Mm.
And Sanbei rejoining the group.
Yeah, that's what I was most excited about too.
Yeah, show.
They were like, we're going after the spaceship and this very strong person. We need the person that we know that is very strong, that wants to fight somebody very strong with us.
Yeah.
So that was going to be a cool encounter that I was looking forward to.
I really hope they bring it back.
Okay,
because honestly, this was a really good show, and it really did throw me off.
We got to do I'm going to put this on the same scale as The Devil's a Part-Timer, because I think if they thought about season 2 and it got shelved like that, then I don't think it'll be that bad. The Devil's a Part-Timer came out in 2013, and it took nearly 10 years before we got a second season. I mean, in technicality, it was 9 years.
So if you guys want a season 2 of Gleipnir,
put
it in the comments, like, subscribe, boost it, because I want a season 2. I want to see how this show ends.
I want a season 2.
I need to
but again, like with Gleipnir and The Devil's a Part-Timer, I feel like they're two different types of animes. Gleipnir is very mature, and I feel like it's a lot harder for those type of animes to get their season 2.
I feel like no, because I feel like and this is one thing that I've kind of been struggling with, is that the audience that watches anime, we've essentially all grown up, and I feel like we kind of put the studio in like this weird bubble. Like, yes, they cater to their audience, which is Japan, but the Western market is a thing, and right now the only thing that they really try to do for us is kind of give us nostalgic rehashes. We got Daima, Dragon Ball Z. We got a new One Piece coming out, Boruto, a Naruto remake, for Christ's sake.
Sticking with the formulas that work, the IPs that have been making money.
Exactly, and
it's capitalism.
I think that just like how you're saying, if we get enough traction behind it, dude, we could get a season 2. Yeah, we could totally pull it.
I would really love to see a season 2 of this show. What do we rank Failure Frame on? Did we do a 1 through 10 scale?
We did a 1 through 10 cringe or binge on that one.
Cringe or binge? I say binge. I'm saying it's not a 10. It's not perfect. I wouldn't even go so far as to say 9. Maybe like 8.5.
That's solid. That's fair.
Yeah, there's only 13 episodes. They're not super long. You definitely finish this in a weekend, and I recommend it. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting and fun, and I like the dark themes around it, and I like the concept behind like the powers, the abilities, and how they manifest in different ways for different people.
I would say I give it probably like a 7.5. I do like a lot of the concepts behind it. There's a lot of room for imagination. I do like the mature aspects about it too. Can't watch it around with the kids, so fair warning, if you have kids, don't watch it with the kids around. It gets a little mature at some points, and a little awkward too. So, but I do wish that they come out with the second season. It is a pretty quick anime that you can binge watch in like a weekend, so I would recommend binging it. 7 point.
I would want to say same as Eric. I want to give it an 8.5. And honestly, I've definitely been very, very sharp with this anime too. The shock factor, a lot of the mature aspects of it. Sometimes it's a little jarring, but like I said the first time when we started this anime, like, this is what anime is. Like, you get it in all flavors. Like, you can't pick and choose when to feel uncomfortable or when to feel comfortable. But besides that aspect, like, if you were to just like really not focus on that, because it's not that bad. I mean, the plot itself, the character development, the way the relationships grow,
That twist with Shuichi's house.
The plot twist.
Finding out that his parents were dead this whole time.
There are so many elements that if you were to give it a solid chance, like you would get wrapped up in it. I definitely want to say that this is a binging anime, but I also want to put the caveat that this is an anime where you don't really want to walk away from. Like if you're going to sit down and watch it, you try to hammer out a good chunk of episodes, because if you get stuck on a boring part, you might feel it a little hard to come back. But if you get it on a sweet spot, you ain't leaving nowhere. Not at all.
Yeah, and I think the first couple episodes too, like it is a little weird. It kind of takes a while to kind of get into it, but I mean, these last 5 episodes that we covered today, 9 through 13, really just like set up this show and set up this world building, and that's why it's so disappointing that there isn't a second season. I also feel like that's kind of like the point of this podcast too, as well, is we're trying to find shows that maybe aren't very well talked about in the anime community, you know, or very mainstream, and maybe didn't get the second season that they deserved. Yeah. You know, and so I think this was a good pick, like in that consideration too, because it is a show that is really good that deserves a second season, but never got it. And so hopefully
and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one thing that I appreciate about us. Like we're not what is it, prime time seekers. Like we're not going for like the latest and greatest anime that everybody's watching. So you know the content pool of that criteria is just like riddled with the same thing. Like we just get lost in it. Like we're going after like the hidden gems. Like that's what we do.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still watching those mainstream.
Oh yeah, I am, but I ain't talking about them on here.
Spotlighted animes, but on top of every other anime I'm watching, I'm just a consumer, man. I just consume all the media that's out there. I watch all animes, all new movies. I like watching. I like stories. I like hearing all the stories, which is why I gave this one a 7.5, because it has the potential of being higher. But since the story isn't over, I don't know if it is going to be an 8.5 or a 9. And
I get that.
The potential is there. But what it gave me right now is a great appetizer. I would say
that is true.
I want more. So that's why I got a high rating, but it's not up there because it's an unfinished story for me. But I really liked it where it was going. Great concept.
Talking about great concepts and great stories coming up. Jesus Christ, Solo Leveling it's right around the corner, guys. It's actually, I think in a couple of days, season 2 actually drops on Crunchy.
Yeah.
So,
and we just went to the movies to go see the Solo Leveling movie that came out. So we got a sneak peek of season 2.
Your next anime podcast did visit the movies, and we did see the Solo Leveling Reawakening, which was dope.
Let us know if you guys are watching this. Let us know if you want us to do we can do special one-off episodes where we talk about like little anime movies and stuff that comes out, and maybe what our predictions are, because we went to go see that one. There's a couple other anime movies on our list that we want to do. Maybe we'll even do we can do a live stream.
I would love to do it live stream
where we're kind of like watching and commenting on it side by side, almost like a mystery science type deal. But yeah, so just let us know, in the comments. In terms of what's coming up, our next anime is going to be Skate the Infinity. I've never seen it. It is an anime about skateboarding, in case you didn't catch that already. So it's going to be a bit of a pivot from Gleipnir, right? So, and Michael had kind of pointed out, it was his idea to do Failure Friend, which was the first show that we did. Chris picked out Gleipnir, so I had the choice, and I wanted to watch something that I had never seen before. That's part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, is because I wanted to watch. I didn't know what to watch, and I
kept recommending way too much.
Yeah,
both of us, bro. Like, you throw 25 animes at them in 2 seconds. Yeah. Like, gotta watch this.
That, and I'm also very hesitant to start something new, because I don't want to invest time in something that I'm not going to end up liking, or that I'm not going to end up finishing. So this one was suggested by Chris, who was on a list of animes that him and Mike had gone over together, and it just seemed like something different from what we had been watching. I don't know what to expect. from the cover, it looks like it's going to be fun. A lot of dudes.
A lot of dudes.
We're going to see where that takes us. Yeah, but I have the Wikipedia pulled up right here. It says, in Okinawa, a group of hardcore skaters participate in a secret no-holds-barred competition after midnight known as S, racing each other on skateboards down a winding road carved out of an abandoned mine and occasionally forming rivalries, also known as beefs, it says that in quotes, with each other. Reki, a high school sophomore and hardcore skater, takes new transfer student Langa to S and ends up pulling him into the world of skateboarding.
That whole premise sounds pretty badass.
It sounds like Fast and the Furious, but skateboarding.
But on skateboard.
We're bad.
We're not old enough to have our driver's licenses yet, but I got my skateboard.
We got beefs, dog.
All right, we're gonna jump over the mine shaft. How are you gonna do that with
over the mine?
Bam. Like, okay.
Soul skating. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
I'm stoked about it. Also, because I also skateboard in real life, so
I was actually skateboarding the other day. I pulled mine out, and it was really nice. Just kind of like going down the street. I had to get my balance back though. Be honest,
I used to like cruising. I was a big cruiser. I wasn't really good at the tricks.
What is it like the boogie? Not a boogie board. What do they call those things? Those long
boards. Yeah, no, I didn't do that. No, I would just ride my skateboard.
Oh my gosh!
I knew how to ollie and kickflip. That's about as much as I learned.
I was super good at heel flipping. That was my thing. That and grinding. I love doing grinding.
Oh, I was super good at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And I had all of them. 1, 2, 3. Tony Hawk's Underground. Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
What is it? American
Underground
Wasteland?
and Underground 2 are the best.
Yeah. With Thug. Yeah, I love Thug.
But next anime, Skate the Infinity.
Skate the Infinity. I'm super stoked. It is on Crunchyroll for those who want to watch ahead of time.
Is
this
a dub sub?
With us. There's 12 episodes. What's that?
Is it a dub sub? Just curious.
It's a dub sub.
It is a dub sub. Nice.
Dub sub. Crunchyroll, 12 episodes, 1 season.
12 episodes, 1 season. And I think we're probably going to break it down. We've been doing 3 episodes per.
We can do 4E12
taping.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could do a 4
We'll
count.
figure it out.
And just knock it straight out.
3 times 4?
Yeah.
Or 4 times
12?
3?
Wait a minute. It's all the same. Don't do that. Why did I start calculating for a minute? I was like,
but this was honestly, all in all, good show. Good recommendation again, Chris. Appreciate it. Let us know in the comments what you give Gleipnir out of a 1 through 10. Do you think it's binge or cringe if you watched it? If you haven't watched it, are you interested in watching it now? And then if you do watch it, come back and tell us if you watched it. And if you don't watch it, come back and tell us that you didn't watch it.
And if you watched us, but you didn't watch that, then at least let us know that you watched us, but you didn't watch that. I love that.
Yeah, that part.
And if you watched me,
if you watched Chris, yes.
Let him know, because
then you let him know.
He needs the confidence.
If you like the intro, also let him know. Give a reach out.
Yeah, because the outro, it's still
intro is better than the outro. We've been over this. Intro is better than the outro. There's that one part in the middle of the intro that does that. And I love it. It's a great intro. God. The outro it's a 5.
Okay, the biggest beef that we're probably gonna, or biggest discussion since we start this new one, is just intro versus outro.
But yeah, that's gonna be the first topic of discussion. Is gonna be the intro, the outro. I'm gonna take a good hard listen to it on this next show, and I'm gonna be ready. But until then, it's been real. We're your next anime podcast. Let us know in the comments. What are you watching?